Hey everyone, it's Christmas! Oh wait, no, it's not Christmas, it's about 2 weeks away, but it's close to Christmas. Therefore, I see it as a good time to talk about something Christmas related. Go figure! Here's a little something about me. Even though we're living in the age of streaming services and all that, I still really like and even somewhat prefer regular TV. I know, I'm an old geezer at heart, but it's true. One of the things I like most about it, especially around this time, is seeing how all the networks deck themselves out for the holiday season. What special events are they gonna put on? What new logos and stingers are they gonna use? But there's one nagging thought that goes through my head year after year. No matter what, none are going to top what Nickelodeon did in the early 2000s with Nickmas. What's Nickmas? Well, it's exactly what the name sounds like. Nickelodeon plus Christmas equals Nickmas. Not only did Nickelodeon air a ton of new Christmas specials, which I will not be talking about here, maybe some other year, but they also aired tons of brand new original bumpers, promos, and skits in between the commercial breaks. A lot of people seem to hold these in high regard, and I am no different. These were all fun, special, unique, and really helped to get into the holiday spirit. But what are they? And what about them made them work so well? Well, let's dive into that right here. This is Nickmas, Nickelodeon's best holiday branding. Each of the Nickmas shorts had their own unique style and flair. None of them felt the same to each other, even if they were using the same animation styles. There would be a Charlie Brown Christmas parody starring the Rugrats where Chucky doesn't really know how to celebrate any winter holiday. The joke here is twofold. The first and most obvious of these is that we see the Rugrats gang walking through the steps of Charlie Brown Christmas. And the second, and my personal favorite of the two jokes, everything has to be super PC and all-inclusive. They can't just celebrate Christmas in this special, they have to celebrate all the holidays. And they constantly poke fun at how unnecessarily long and complicated it makes everything and how it all contradicts. And this is especially funny coming from Rugrats who broke ground with that Hanukkah special, making the winter time not just about Christmas. So seeing them do all these jokes poking fun at PC culture and all-inclusiveness definitely brings a smile to my face.
I just don't understand Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and winter solstice, I guess. I like getting presents, sending cards, and decorating trees, and spinning dreidels, and eating chocolate money, and having a harvest feast, and
The Rugrats also get another focus in a parody of the Grinch, Grinchelica. It's basically how the Grinch stole Christmas, but instead of the Grinch, it's Angelica. And instead of all the gifts and trees and stuff, it's just candy. We see a lot of the Nicktoons mixed together here. Invader Zim, Chalk Zone, Rugrats, SpongeBob. It's really nice to see, although that's not the best one we're gonna be getting when it comes to a crossover, no, but I'm saving that for later. One of my personal favorites is Plankton's Holiday Hits. Plankton has come out with a brand new Christmas album, and he's covering all of our favorite songs like Joy to the World, Deck the Halls, and others that he puts a horrible spin on. But hey, you can order this now, all you have to do is send the secret Krabby Patty recipe to the Chum Bucket. I see what you're doing here, Plankton. There's the Nutcracker Suite with Cosmo and Wanda. This one's probably my least favorite considering that there's not really many jokes around it. But hey, it's short and inoffensive. Probably the most famous is Patrick the Snowman. It's Jimmy Neutron with Nigel Thornberry thrown in, bringing a snowman to life, just like Frosty, only instead of Frosty, it's Patrick Star. And instead of being their best friend, he becomes an intolerable nuisance that they want to do anything to get away from, but they can't. There's actually two versions of this. One contains the full story, and then the other is shortened for time. Basically, after they bring him to life, they just chase him away. This is the version I grew up with, so after seeing the full version years later, I was surprised. Surprised and a little ticked off that I missed out. There's the 12 Days of Nickmas, where all the cartoons airing at the time, except Pelswick, convene together to sing about the 12 Days of Nickmas. It's exactly what you'd expect. 12 Days of Christmas, but Nickelodeon version. And rounding out the shorts is my personal favorite, The Rap Party. Rosie O'Donnell guest stars in a role that for once is not horribly cringy or annoying. Wow, I never would have expected that. She plays the snowman from Rudolph, essentially. After Goddard used his shiny red nose to guide Santa through the storm, all the Nicktoons decided to have a big after party. We get a ton of interactions here. All the Nicktoons, except Pelswick, that were on at the time, get to do something and interact here. Plankton hits on Helga, Zim doesn't know who SpongeBob is, the abominable starfish of the north, who is Patrick, plays with Tommy Pickles, the whole shebang. It's funny, everyone's in character, the stop motion is really nice, and it has some more jabs at all-inclusiveness.
From all of us to all of you, happy!
Insert holiday choice here.
This stuff just screams of malicious compliance to network notes, doesn't it? So what really made these work? Well, for one, they're always funny and entertaining. Even the weaker ones like, say, the Nutcracker Suite are still really enjoyable. These were more creative than they had any right to be. The jabs, the quips, everyone staying in character, it was right on point. Another thing that really helped is that it was a big crossover between a whole bunch of Nicktoons. Sure, a couple were left out, like once again, Pelswick, but it was nice to see a big ol' hodgepodge of all the shows that helped make Nickelodeon great. These days it would probably be all SpongeBob, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Loud House, considering the fact that that's pretty much all they've got now. Maybe it was because the program was a lot more varied back then, or because the people actually got to do more with their shows, or the network cared a little bit more. Whatever it was, this really did stand out. Where else could you see these characters interact? I mean, I guess there's the video games like Battle for Volcano Island or the not yet released Globs of Doom. It reminds me a lot of the Cartoon Network city bumpers. You remember those, right? In the mid-2000s, actually, around this time, Cartoon Network had these promos where all their characters would interact and mix in a city. So you'd have the Powerpuff Girls, Ed and Eddie, Billy and Mandy, Gym Partners a Monkey, Fosters, all those guys all together interacting, going on little adventures and hijinks. Though of course there weren't as many of these Nickmas segments as there were the Cartoon Network city bumpers, the same feel is felt here. The camaraderie's on point, and when you put these crazy, wacky characters together, you can't help but just watch them bounce off each other and act completely insane. The animation styles are varied too. Sometimes it's stop motion, sometimes it's CG, sometimes it's hand-drawn, and sometimes it's hand-drawn but in a completely different style than the cartoon. It's not much, but it is nice to break up some of the potential monotony. After all, considering the fact that these only chalk up to 10 minutes in total, you're gonna be seeing these pop up around the network a ton. A lot of repeats. I remember Plankton's Holiday Hits and Patrick the Snowman were the ones that were aired the most. Still, it's hard to get tired of them though. When you watch these, it just radiates passion and drive. The people behind these shorts clearly cared about what they were doing and had a great time doing it. Because if they didn't, it would have been a lot worse. The writing wouldn't have been as snappy, we probably wouldn't have gotten as many shows intermixed, the animations wouldn't have been different, and they wouldn't have been funny. They would have been just cheap cash grabs that the network forced everyone to make, like Cartoon Network Invaded, which I hope to talk about someday. At the time these were airing, Nickelodeon was all about taking risks, being strange, and having fun with it. And this is all captured perfectly in these segments. They never feel dull, they never feel dragged out, they're just fun side projects that the network felt like putting together. And I wish they were still aired every year, but of course, nothing lasts forever. They had to move on. And even if they did try something like this these days, I'm not sure it would be quite as good. Again, this was more of a time capsule for Nickelodeon at the time. Nickelodeon these days is definitely more, how do I put it, market savvy. They're more into playing it safe rather than taking risks. They're more into being marketable than totally crazy and weird. Nickmas today would definitely not be the Nickmas shown here. I guess they could throw in some of their live action shows, but it wouldn't really be the same. And simply re-airing these wouldn't really do as well unless you did it on the Splat. That would be perfect. And hey, they might be doing that. It is the Christmas season, and you know the Splat, they love milking that 90s and early 2000s nostalgia. So overall, what we got here is a bunch of very strange but very enjoyable little holiday bumpers. Each one looked like they were a blast to make. And as a kid, I can testify that they were always a blast catching them on TV. Some have tried to capture the magic all over again, they may try to recapture the magic someday, but it won't quite be the same. It's like capturing lightning in a bottle. For what it's worth, this Nickmas promotion was as good as it possibly could have been. Memorable, fun, quirky, and totally capturing the spirit of the network at the time. That was Nickmas. Well folks, thank you very much for watching. Nickmas has always been very interesting to me because, well, all the reasons I've been saying in this video. What, do you want me to repeat myself? There are those bumpers that I saw as a kid and they just never left my mind. I've never been able to stop thinking about them whenever the holidays roll around. And if you guys out there haven't really been exposed to them, maybe now's the time. Like I said, they're right up there on YouTube, all compiled into one video. I highly suggest you check them out and just enjoy them for the surreal experience that they are. Alright everybody, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week where we do an early Patreon raffle review. Gotta save the viewer voted one for the actual Christmas day, right? Alright. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time!